Hello there and welcome to Vermin Hunters TV with me, Si. Today on the show we're going to show you some more night vision equipment from Digital Night Stalker and Damien West. Then we're going to be testing it out in the field and showing you what it's like both in the daytime and in the night time. Probably the daytime from this location here, night time from one of my permissions. So what we're looking at is the Digital Night Stalker spotting unit. As you can see, it's got a zoom lens here, with a cap on it. You've got an IR illuminator here, which you can obviously change the beam from wide to narrow, and actually on the unit itself at the back you'll see this button here. This IR unit is a 3 mode, so it's low, medium and high, and you change that by pressing this button here. Your on-off switches here, simple on-off switch, same as on the night vision unit, exact same switch. You can see you've got an handle on here. The handle does come off if you want to take it off. And it comes with a little hand lanyard here, and a nice sturdy bolt at the back here. What I'd probably do is I'd probably take this small one off, unless I was going out with a partner and one of us was spotting, one shooting, and put a big piece of paracord so it can go around my neck. You'll see on the back you've got an high resolution screen, and I'll just pop it down a minute. Oh sorry, no, in fact underneath you've got the charging port here and also an AV adapter area here, so you can actually use like a PV1000 digital night vision recorder to actually film what you're seeing through the spotting unit. In the packet also comes the charger unit, or the charger, and a set of instructions here from Damien and from Digital Night Stalker explaining how to use the equipment. To be fair, I'm quite a fay with spotters, so I didn't read the instructions, and I went straight to the unit and worked it out straight away. Really good. I'll show you how to turn it on. Obviously just the button, as I said. Turn it on like so, and it comes on. I will show you some footage through the PV1000. I'm not sure if you can, I don't think you can see the IR in the day, but I'm actually adjusting the IR there through the back. Take the lens cap off, and what I'll try and do, reverse, which is not going to be very easy, is play around with the focus and so forth. There you can see. Trying to do it obviously using, it's got a zoom, which I will show you a little later on. You can see it coming in and out of focus. Yeah, and with that, obviously I've got my Digital Night Stalker night vision unit. You see, same switch as I said, and the AV. I've got my ranges on there now. I just printed them off today, and I've adjusted, so instead of having my screen on top of my IR illuminator like I had, I've now moved it down and put a bit of an extension bar on. The reason I did that is because one of the main fences what I rest on is a little bit higher, and I was looking up like that, where now I can bring it down, and if I need be I'll just adjust like so. This is a very good unit. It works really well on this P15 air rifle. So you see I'm doing a voiceover. It's because the unit doesn't have a microphone fitted, and neither does the PV1000. And looking over my backs now, and I'm zooming in now. You'll see I zoom in, and I'm picking a window which the curtains are closed, so people don't think I'm spying on them. And I'm setting the focus. You can see it's quite hard to steady it by hand, or even on a tripod when it's zoomed in, because it magnifies the wobble. But you can see the picture comes really clear, and now obviously zooming back out again, and then I'll set the focus again. You can see it's a really nice picture. This is half zoom, it's a lot easier to control. You can see it's steadier to hold, but you still get a really good picture. And I'm just scanning now, and then I'm going back down to no zoom whatsoever, and I'll set the focus again. So it's really easy to set focus. This is a bit of close range work, and this is looking at myself, and I'm holding the PV1000. You'll see I'm talking at the minute, but I shouldn't have been really talking because there's no microphone. But yeah, I'm just basically saying that yeah, it's clear even at close range. And this is a typical ratting range, so I've got some gnomes set up there on my garden, and I'm just going to zoom in to sort of like a closer distance, then even a little bit closer, and then set focus, and you can see it does focus really nice. It's a really nice unit. What I'm doing here is just setting focus. The unit is zoomed in and the IR is almost on its narrowest beam, and you can see a rabbit there popping its head up every so often, having some grass. You can see the buildings are really clear, and so are the trees, and there you'll see an eye shine of an owl. So he's just looking, turning his head. You can see again the trees and the buildings are really clear. And then what I'll do in a second is I zoom all the way out with the unit, and then you'll see that I wasn't actually on its narrowest beam with the IR. So you can see I make it narrow in a second, like so, and then I make it wide again. So I'm on no zoom at the minute, and I'm making the IR wider and wider and wider. It gives you a perspective then across the field, and then I just scan across the field to see if there's any rabbits, and then in a little while I come to the left just to see if there's any up the tree line, which there isn't. This is a Google Earth image taken in the day of the permission I was shooting the night vision footage from. You can see the pig farm here, then just over here to the left is the chicken farm. Now at the top here I've got this rectangular box open, and I've got it to yards, and it's a measuring tool, so it allows me to measure distance. And the fence post I was actually taking the footage from was just here. Now if I stretch across using the measuring tool across to the buildings we're looking at, is these buildings here, and they're at 314 yards. So 314 yards, picking out them buildings as clear as it did with the IR beam narrowed and the spotting unit zoomed in is really good. And I can imagine that if we was to add another 100 yards onto this distance, we would still be able to see and make out buildings and trees. So going off Damien's recommended distance of 5 to 450 yards for this unit, I agree, and I can see it actually doing that on buildings and trees. What was interesting though, if I move back to this piece of grass here at 292, almost 293 yards, we noticed the rabbit stuck its head up. So if you're into shooting foxes, and this review is more about air guns really, but just to bring this up, and you've got a centerfire rifle, if you can imagine, if it can pick up a rabbit at 292 yards, it's easily going to pick up a fox, for those who want to spot foxes at that distance. When we move across here you'll see these trees, and this is where the owl was in the tree, and that was at 300 yards, and it picked up the eye shine of the owl at 300 yards. So yep, so far really impressed with the unit, and I'm looking forward to showing you the rest of the review. This is the spotter now dialed in to around 130 yards. You can see that rabbit clearly. This is now on its full zoom, and you can really see it clearly. This is me showing you what the picture looks like at air rifle max distances. So this is around about 50 to 55 yards. And you can see I'm just looking up this edge line here. I've got the IR on a really wide beam. You can see the pictures nice and clear. I come up to a gate and then refocus in a second, and then move a little bit more to the right to have a look to see if there's anything along that edge line. But you can see the pictures really clear for air gunners. What I'm doing here is I'm just scanning along the bottom of the walls to see if there's any rats running around. This part of the farm is the top part of the farm, and usually you do get an odd rat, but on this particular night there was none at the top of the farm, but I left it in anyway because you can see how good the picture is on the unit. So this is down the bottom end of the farm, and you see underneath that roofing material there's an object, and it moves in a little while, and at first I think it's a massive rat, but then you'll see it moves to the right and it's actually a rabbit. And I've got the IR turned right down low, and it doesn't really affect the rabbit. I then flick up the IR to its middle beam. You'll see there's some wavy lines on the screen. That's not the unit, that's the lead. I haven't got the best lead to actually record with. So this is down the bottom end of the farm still. You can see there's quite a lot of rats. The IR is on its widest beam, and it's also turned down to its lowest setting. You can see the rats aren't bothered one bit, they're just going about their nightly duties. You see they sat on that straw there and eating bits of animal feed, what's obviously been caught up in the straw. But you can see there's quite a lot of rats starting to come back to this pig farm. This is the spotting unit on the tripod. It's not quite in focus. The reason is because I've got the gun, and you'll see the IR coming across. I'm trying to find him. The actual T38 is brighter at the minute than the actual spotting unit, but I'm there in a kneeling position, and he gives me an opportunity a little while, and I shoot him and kill him, and he falls down the side of the brickwork like so. This is a demo of the unit set on its tripod, but it's looking at 33 yards. And you'll see right where I put the arrow, and now I move to the centre of the IR, there's a rat there. So I now zoom in a little way, and you can get a clearer picture of the rat before it scurries off. So here we are then. This is the first rat of the night. You can see he's just come out of the haystack. I'm playing with the IR on the T38, and I'm just waiting for him to stand still to get a nice headshot. And then you can see there, I take him and he just slumps forward. You can actually see the clarity of the picture. Blood is actually coming out of his brain area. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that shot. And there's a close-up. Here we go again. This is a rat, and I thought I hit him, but I must have missed him, because when I pan left he's not there, so that was a miss. Now this is a mistake on my part. This is a big rat, and I don't give him any holdover when I should have given him a mill dot. Now you can see I hit him low, and he doesn't look too phased, but when he walks forward you'll see blood coming out his neck, so he would have died. But what I do this time, I quickly reload, and this is why it's good to have the Darko mags, and give him 1 mil dot of holdover, and you can see, look at how much difference going from no holdover to 1 mil dot can make on a close range rat. And I wanted to leave that in to show the the newer shooters that it is important to know your hold over and hold under and understand it correctly. And there's a close-up of him. This is in a 45-yard barn, but it's only about 10 meters, so I give him 1 mil dot of hold over. You can see blood coming out, nice clean headshot, and then he falls forward and onto the ground. This is a new nest I find on the pig farm, and I've not seen this nest before. You can see there's quite a few rats there under some pallets, so I take aim at this rat there and drop him. His mate runs off to the left and scurries back into the actual main barn, but you can see eyes moving backwards and forwards, so I know there's some more in there. So quickly reload with a Darko mag, take the next shot, and whack another rat. Another rat runs out into the grass, but I never actually see where that one runs to. Same again, more coming. Look, it's like a choo-choo train of rats. Take a nice shot. This time don't really go far, and drops it. I think it don't jump forward too much because there's other rats in there. You can see it shaking now, and then it pulls itself a few flicks of the tail and dies quite humanely. Same nest again. Look, another rat pops its head out. A nice another shot right to the brain, and you can see him flicker, and he actually does pop out, and I'll get a close-up photo of him in a second. There you go. Same nest again, still more rats. This one's having a peek out. You can see his dead mate to the left. Take a nice shot, bang, drop him cleanly. So this is a place I'll be definitely revisiting in the future. This time, look, this shows the accuracy of the P15. A tiniest little slit there, look, I had to shoot, and it's probably thinner than a pencil, that position I had to shoot through, and you can see I drop him, he's flickering his tail there.
This is in the end of one of the barns. I'm not sure if I got him or not. I didn't actually retrieve him, so I'll put him down to a miss. This is on the haystack outside the 45-yard barn, and this big rat here, I drop him from about 30 meters, and you'll see he flicks onto the floor. I think I actually zoom out on the scope as well. See more rats there. Take a shot, forget to give a mould over and miss them both. Two here. I thought go for the right hand one, hoping that I might get two, and I think I did get two. I heard the impact, but I couldn't pick the rats up because obviously they shot out of sight. This is actually only on ×2 mag, and you can see I only give it the tiniest little bit of mould over because I'm on ×2 mag, and the rat actually falls forward, and you'll see him on the pallet. It's lucky that it actually does that, because as you saw, sometimes you can hit them cleanly and you know you've hit them, but they jump out of sight. Another one on the haystack, and roll him cleanly over. And then this is one of my favourite positions. This is a rat. They like this hose pipe, so I hit him and he falls down, and then his mate sort of like pops out, and I'm just about to take a shot, and then he dives out of sight and he never comes back. I do wait though, and I've been playing hide and seek with that rat, and he comes back and he makes a big mistake because I put the crosshair on him and bowl him over. This is a real big rat. It's on top of a black hopper. I've got the IR turned right down on low, and I'm going to take a shot now, and you'll see him fall down, and then I walk over and take a still shot, and you'll see it's a real big fat rat. Back outside again in the dung pile, and that rat there, I hit him cleanly in the head, and you just see him lay down. This is a long range rat, or there's two actually. I've left these in to show again the accuracy of the P15. This is 43 yards, and I know that because I know the length of the barn, and you'll see I drop him, and then his mate pops out at 44 yards, and I give him the same sort of like aim point, just over half a mil dot, and drop him. You'll watch the pellet land straight on top of his head. Watch this. Absolute perfect accuracy from that P15. You see him jumping about, and then that's him gone, and I take two still shots. There's the first one, there's the second one. I believe this is the last rat of the night. It's the same place where I had to do a double up shot earlier on. This time I do give him straight away 1 mil dot, and you can see the pellet placement is brilliant, and hits him straight in the side of the head, just below the ear, and there's the still shot. In regards to the price for the spotter, I'll take you to Damien's website, and you can see it's £250. Contact information if you want to get in touch with Damien is also on the website, and is where the arrow is pointing now.